I am Doomsvince, and this is day 12 of Spawn Year.
Has it been a year yet? Is it time to go home? Issue 12. I have been dreading this number. It's been a whole year for the comic, but just 12 days for me. A whole year's worth of books, and Spawn's just getting around to figuring out he was murdered and who killed him. Yeesh, when does this superhero's origin story finally wrap up? Issue 80? Maybe some of my frustration comes from the fact that I'd find this drama more effective if the answers to Spawn's past were discovered by Spawn himself, rather than being dropped in his head by Malbolgia. The book can't decide between Malbolgia and the Malbolgia. Maybe I'll start going with Bulgy. Once again, Spawn spends most of the issue brooding, standing in dramatic poses, thinking to himself, and remembering things. His focus is on Wanda and their wedding, because for the third time, he's compelled to visit a particular church. I do really love the image of a Spawn from hell clutching to an enormous cross. We get a flashback to their wedding, and Spawn recalls Wanda's grandma Blake, who was upset because Wanda wouldn't take Al's last name. And I kind of like Al's reasoning. Having the same last name as his wife would make her feel more like his sister. I wonder if he really felt that way, or if he couldn't change Wanda's mind, so he justifies it to himself so he can live with it. I like that while Spawn is piecing together more of his past, we see the major players in that past dealing with new problems. Jason Wynn, Al's old boss, has Wanda's new husband Terry in his crosshairs, and sends men to threaten him with the possibility of hurting his family, because Wynn believes Terry is snooping through files regarding Al's death in order to blackmail Wynn. In the middle of this, there's an unnecessarily long scene with Wanda talking to Cyan that strikes me as McFarlane's attempt to wow the audience by showing off that he knows what a 2-year-old talks like, since he currently has one and actually named Cyan after her. But I can't be too hard on him. He's new to fatherhood and writing and excited about both. He writes a wonderfully touching scene between Spawn and the blind Grandma Blake. Spawn comes to her to find out more about Wanda, and he finally gets some peace of mind when she tells him Wanda still loves him and what a difference he made in her life. I like that there's someone he can talk to as Al Simmons, and I like that he tells her God has a place for her set aside. It's an unusually, authentically moving scene. We also finally go back to Sam and Twitch, who are still dealing with Billy Kincaid's death. Their chief of police thinks they killed him, and they seem ready to try to hunt down Spawn. At the end, Spawn finally realizes why he's been summoned to a church. It's a clue to the name of his killer, Chapel. Wow. Really? That kind of clue? What is this, Adam West Batman? It's the only possible meaning. I suppose you could argue he didn't randomly deduce this or pull it out of thin air, that Malbolgia probably planted the answer in his head when he wanted him to know it like everything else. Then why have him summoned to a church? Bulgy hasn't dropped other cryptic clues this way. Maybe he just wants Spawn to be more miserable by feeling like the answer was right there all along, and he's dropping it on Spawn now because Grandma Blake just made him feel a little better. Well, I guess there's some logic if that's it, convoluted as it is. 12 issues. It really does already feel like I've been at this a year. Man, I could use a Mountain Dew right now. Signed, Captain Logan.